back here at Ohsweken as we look at the remains of the Dylan Westbrook sprint car. He was going for the lead with 1 lap to go, spun, had contact with Todd Hoddick, who is now running in second, and we've got just 1 lap left to go.
Just 1 lap remaining. Can Hoddick pull it off and get by Steyrs? Again, Steyrs looking for his first feature win at his hometown track, or his home track, this year.
I wouldn't count out that number 5 of Keith Dempster behind him either. If something happens with the top 2, anything could happen. He might be able to sneak right in for the win.
And Hoddick had contact. Does he have damage? We don't know, but right now it looks like Steyrs is going to pull away.
The driver on the move, actually Collins up to third, going for second, but Steyrs is going to score the win. The triple duty man pulls it off here in the first feature.
Hoddick gets second, Collins in third, Keith Dempster fades back to the number 4 spot. So the winner, first time this year for the guy doing triple duty tonight, Glenn Steyrs gets the victory.
And Glenn will have to hurry up. He's got his race coming up in the late models. Some drivers moving up late in this feature, like Jim Huppinen gets up to 5th. He came from well back in the field. And there's another double-duty driver, Charlie Sandercock, coming home in 9th.
Yeah. Ninth place for him. Solid run for Charlie Sandercock, who does not have a lot of experience in these sprint cars.
Some drivers that had a little bit more of an issue. Mitch Brown in 15th had spun, and of course Dylan Westbrook, the story of the night.
Yeah, he ran a great race for his first time in a 360 sprint. Very impressive to be leading late in this event.
Yeah, you know he doesn't feel good about that, to do as well as he did and come home 16th in a tough run for Stuart Friesen. Broke early in this one, driving his wife's sprint car, and he is relegated to a 23rd place finish. Glenn Steyrs climbing from his car down in victory lane. And like we said, he's not going to have a lot of time. He's got to get ready for something else, but he's got time to celebrate down in victory lane. Let's check in and see what he thought about his win.
Hey, with Glenn Steyrs. Glenn, you just won the Corr Pack sprint race at the Triple Crown Showdown here at home. What a drive for you tonight. Your teammate Dylan Westbrook almost got one over on you.
You know what? That kid is going to be amazing. It's the first time in a 360, and all I did is I just used a little bit of experience on him. I just spooked him in a corner. Other than that, he had me. Like, he was a lot faster. He was pulling away all night, and I'm so impressed with his driving.
You guys did a great job on the track here in intermission. What are these next 2 features going to see when they get out there?
You know what? This track is going to be amazing. Everything that you see here now, it's not going to roll up anymore. The fans are going to be in for a real treat. Like, we couldn't have asked for a better track tonight.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, your 360 Corr Pack merchandising sprint car winner, Glenn Steyrs.
Todd Hoddick, last lap, you took a shot at him on the bottom of the racetrack, which probably wasn't your strongest suit during the race, but it was the only lane you could go for.
Yeah, we've been good up on the top, and we knew we had to do something different because we know Glenn was going to the top. Glenn loves the top around here, and when we got together with the 47 car there, he ripped the right rear shock off the car, so we were just basically hanging on for dear life there that last lap or 2.
Todd Hoddick finishes second tonight in a close one and a 1-lap shootout.
Here with Steve Collins. Doc, what a run for you. 3rd today on a big show. Great track, great crowd, awesome run.
Yeah, it was an awesome run. I love this place, and that track was beautiful. 2 lanes, you go high or go low wherever the other guy wasn't, and it was a lot of fun out there.
Track looked a bit touchy for you guys, but you guys survived it very well.
Yeah, it had a nice rut down the middle of 1 and 2 there, and you just had to either stay above it or below it. I went over it one time and it got out of shape, and learned a lesson there. Stay above it or below it, and you're okay.
There he is, the flying physician. Steve Collins, 3rd place here tonight.
Well, Glenn Steyrs will need to move quickly as he has to hustle over to the pits to run the 25-lap Go Nuclear late model feature. It's coming up next on the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
Ohsweken Speedway is the home of Friday Night Excitement, featuring Canada's best weekly sprint car action. The Winged Warriors battled it out on the high bank 3/8 mile oval each and every week, chasing after the Corr Pack title. The grandstands, lighting, and racing are second to none. Ohsweken is also the home of the groundbreaking crate sprint car division, as well as huge stock car fields with incredible door-to-door action. Visit OhswekenSpeedway.com to plan your trip to the Big O.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Welcome back to Ohsweken. The late models are on the track. The guys that we see every week on the Go Nuclear Late Model Series now ready to go here for 25 laps. The 4 wide salute to the crowd taking place.
And it's going to be a wild one. 27 cars strong. They're starting them all. $2,000 top prize. And as we talked about and saw in the heat races, Delaware double file restarts to be utilized anytime there is a caution.
25 laps for this event. The sprints just went 20, 25 for the late models. And I love these onboard cameras. Sean Beardsley giving us a great shot. Dale Caswell. That's a view they want to see tonight. Everybody else behind them.
Exactly. And it's always a safer place for the cameras back there when the mud's flying around.
That's
got
true.
through a few cameras, have you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or you put them out in the front and the camera's gone after one lap. So this is the way that they will line up. Sean Beardsley and Sam Bonaccio on the pole.
And these drivers redrew for the top 9 spots. Kyle Supaz and Luke Carlton, a pair of Canadians, row number 2.
Dale Caswell, he'll probably be on the bottom, so he likes to start there. Darren Peters, Dustin Waters in row number 4.
And the last driver to make the redraw was heat race number 1 winner John Waters, but there's still good names outside of the top 9. You look at guys like Charlie Sandercock starting back in position number 12. We saw how fast Rob Pitts was. He goes away from starting spot number 14. And, of course, Greg Bellier, always fast. He goes from 15. Just a great field of late models on hand tonight.
Glenn Stiers will start in 19th, so he was able to make it with his double helmets that he has in the pit area when he needs them. Bill Gill, Austin King there in row number 13. Mike Lewis will be the last starter. His 05 will go from the back. There's Sean Beardsley, and that's what he wants to see is everybody back behind him as he gets the front row start.
Slow start. And Panaccio didn't go at all on the outside pole, but the green flag's out. We're underway.
Well, when they get to that white line, they've got to fire, and that's exactly what Beardsley in the 18 did, and nobody else went with him, so he's going to jump right out to a nice, clean, comfortable lead.
I think he'll take that. There's John Waters looking for 6th. Down on the inside of Luke Carlton as the bottom groove looks good early.
Waters is up from 9th to 6th here on the opening circuit. Meanwhile, Sandercock was the meat of a sandwich and getting squeezed into turn number 1 and 2 by Adam Turner and TJ Downs. He's stuck back in 12th. Meanwhile, for 3rd place, here comes the Sam Panaccio 311 up the racetrack, and Dale Caswell, as always, on the bottom.
And guys, you know, we had a chance. Obviously, we saw the late model drivers watching the sprint car race, and now the modified guys are watching this race to see what the track is going to do. Glenn said in Victory Lane he doesn't think the track's going to peel up, but it looks like it might be starting to take a little bit of rubber down there in the corner.
And it's a totally different line. These late models, and we're going to see probably the same deal with the modified, it's going to go into turn 1 and pitch that car on the bottom of the racetrack. Sprint cars want to let that thing just ride up on the top. Very different lines to be utilized by these 3 race cars.
Well, not only different lines, but also different driving styles. Each one of these different classes, you have to drive the car differently.
Yes, you do. Beardsley on the bottom side of the racetrack. Looking to see what's going up at the top side is Kyle Sopaz. Might have found something that time.
And I think the guy that's found something right now is John Waters, 9th up to 3rd. He is just slicing and dicing through this field in the opening 5 circuits up to 3rd, and he's all where he needs to be in the we got a caution on the racetrack, though. Brad Simpson, one of 2 drivers here from the western part of Ontario, spin around. We'll go to break and be back right after this.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. The series is coming to a track near you, so don't miss out on your best opportunity to experience what all the hype's about. Come see the Go Nuclear Late Models at Humberstone, Sunday, August 23rd.
Ladies and gentlemen, you came looking for a show. Well, here you go.
It's the 11th Annual Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, coming September 18th to 19th to the Ohsweken Speedway, an event with incredible car counts, legendary names steeped in history. Friday night, the action-packed Burger Barn, night before the Nationals. Saturday, the $12,000 to win A-Main. Don't miss Canada's biggest sprint car race.
Let's end all the anticipation as we bring to you the feature presentation.
Planning a trip to Victory Lane? Let Atomic Chassis get you there. Atomic chassis are built with a high attention to detail using superior parts from trusted manufacturers such as BPM, Winters, Bernheisel, Bilstein, All-Star Performance, Vulcan, and many more. With superior craftsmanship and materials, you know Atomic will last. And since each customer becomes a part of our family, you aren't treated like just another number. So visit AtomicChassis.com today to plan your next trip to Victory Lane. 5 laps complete. Triple Crown Showdown at Ohsweken Speedway in Ontario. These are the Go Nuclear late models. First caution came out right before we went to break. Sean Beardsley has led all the laps to this point.
He certainly led all the laps, but boy, he's had 5 guys just breathing down his neck. Dale Caswell being the last one. He's in 6th right now. The guy I'm keeping my eyes on, John Waters in that white number 11. He's up to 3rd after starting in 9th.
Yeah, he has just come through the field. Almost 2 cars a lap is what he's doing at this point. Darren Peters back in position number 4. Delaware restart will put Beardsley on the front row by himself. Sopaz is the one who has the choice. He wants the bottom, and can't say I blame him at this point.
You can see how the track has changed in the heat races tonight during the Delaware double file restart. The leader was on the top side of the speedway. Here in the feature, Beardsley taking to the low side.
He's going to stick like glue down on the inside, and Waters likes that. He's got open track in front of him. John Waters on the outside of the racetrack, side by side for the race lead.
Waters looking up to the top, Beardsley hugging the bottom. Sopaz has the best seat in the house, but Waters might have the lead this time. New leader.
John Waters, fastest in time trials, won his heat race, started worst spot in the redraw. Shane, it hasn't stopped him yet.
No, it hasn't, and he took the top side of the speedway, the longer way around, but he could also keep the momentum up on the motor to really not have to lift and be able to pound it right off the corner.
And here we go for second. Darren Peters gets by Sean Beardsley. So Beardsley slipped up the racetrack a little bit. Darren Peters does not make many starts anymore. Used to be a regular, won 7 races at Humberstone in 2012. But a rare start for him, and he's looking good up to the number 2 spot.
Dale Caswell up to position number 4, got around Panaccio. That's who you see behind him now, as it looks like the bottom groove really starting to come around. But Caswell now drifts up to the high side.
Boy,
you never surprised.
See that. You never see Caswell venture up to the top of the racetrack, but he's trying to hold him off. Meanwhile, for the race lead, Darren Peters has reeled in John Waters.
And remember, Waters passed Peters as he was coming up through the field, so a little surprised at this right here. Peters down to the inside. Waters will hold the spot as we're 10 laps working lap number 11.
Looks like a little bit of a rut starting to develop down on the low side of turn number 1 and 2, so I'm sure these drivers are going to be cognizant of that, and I'm sure the modified drivers peeking out of the pits right now, taking a look and seeing what they're going to have to do for their feature coming up.
And lap traffic going to be a factor. Brian Down out of Trenton, Ontario, drifts up the racetrack. Waters moves down to the bottom, and sometimes when you can get by a lap car, you find a new line and go, oh, that worked for me. And right now, Waters able to pull away, and still a good battle for 5th. Sam Panaccio and Dale Caswell. Again, Panaccio, a graduate of the 4-cylinder truck division in Humberstone. That is not the easiest stepping stone to get into one of these late models. Has not had much success in his rookie year, but he's doing awesome right now. He's up to 5th, and Sandercock to 7th.
Charlie Sandercock making his way up. He started just outside of the top 10. There is your race leader, the number 11. Coming up on 2 lap cars, Brad Simpson, Tim Gillespie, and this might be exactly what Darren Peters needs on the bottom.
They make contact and more contact. Peters almost goes around here at the halfway point, and Waters hangs on to the race lead. That could have been bad.
Well, that could have been bad. And, in a case like that, the guy usually running behind the leader has the advantage in traffic because he knows he can see where the traffic's going to go once the leader comes up on him and use it to his advantage. But that wasn't the case that time for Peters.
And what a save for Peters, by the way, too. We could have had a yellow there, but we keep going, and he keeps second spot.
And the field really stacked up, trying to slice through the heavy, dense lap traffic. Beardsley still in 3rd, Panaccio in 4th, Sopaz and Caswell duking it out for the 5th spot, and Caswell gets into the side of Tim Gillespie, the lap car.
Allows Sopaz to get up and take that spot. Still don't know why. This is the first time I've watched Dale Caswell race for a lot of years. I've never seen him off the bottom as Panaccio goes to the inside of Beardsley. This is for 3rd place.
See who's lurking in the shadows right behind this group. That 57 of Charlie Sandercock. Keep your eye on him. He may have something, but he's got a long ways to go and a short time to get there.
Still impressed by Sam Panaccio hanging up towards the front of the pack. Again, first Go Nuclear Series start for him. Did not expect much out of the 311, but he's doing an awesome job battling for 3rd. Well, the lead is gone again. Peters has reeled in Waters, and he's going for the top spot.
And there's a lot of slow traffic in front of him. New leader now, Darren Peters becomes the third different leader in this race. And look at him pull away from Waters.
Impressive. Waters kind of missed his mark going into one there, Shane. The bottom's been a little rough and tumble. The top's okay, but you get to the middle in turn number one, there's nothing there.
Yeah, now you can see the car starting to float up on him just a little bit. He's really mashing the gas off the corners, trying to keep the pace with the Peters machine to get back up there and try and claim the lead. Just has to be patient and let it come back to him and regain that momentum.
Well, Darren Peters has never won a Go Nuclear Series event. This could be his first. Battle for spot number 5, a pair of regulars at the Brighton Speedway. Kyle Sopaz down on the bottom. Charlie Sandercock, his familiar topside rim riding action as he is just howling the middle. This is a 3/8 mile racetrack. He's driving it like a 4/10 right now.
Nice move by Sandercock, who again started outside the top 10, making the top side work, but does he have time with just 5 laps left to go?
Well, not only time, Doug, but also he's got a lot of slower cars in front of him that he needs to get by in. And that's not going to be an easy feat. These guys aren't cutting anybody any slack as they're still racing for position.
You see Glenn Sayers, the lap car, up on the top in that number 25. Beardsley still hanging out at third, Panaccio in fourth, and Sandercock has reeled at least those drivers in. The caution is out, though. Issue in turn number 3, Brian Down and Brandon Mowat spin around.
There are only a few laps left to go. We'll be back with the conclusion of the Go Nuclear Late Model feature. You're watching the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
Ohsweken Speedway is the home of Friday night excitement, featuring Canada's best weekly sprint car action. The Winged Warriors battled it out on the high bank 3/8 mile oval each and every week, chasing after the Corr Pack title. The grandstands, lighting, and racing are second to none. Ohsweken is also the home of the groundbreaking crate sprint car division, as well as huge stock car fields with incredible door-to-door action. Visit OhswekenSpeedway.com to plan your trip to the Big O.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. The series is coming to a track near you, so don't miss out on your best opportunity to experience what all the hype's about.
It's the Great Crate Race coming to Brighton Speedway, Saturday, September 12th.
Take a look inside any rotary combine, and you'll find single rotor technology. Technology Case IH introduced over 35 years ago with the axial flow combine. But unless it gives you more bells and whistles with fewer belts and chains, more power using less fuel, it's not an axial flow. Because while the heart of every rotary combine beats red, only Case IH gives you the power to do more.
Welcome back to the Go Nuclear Late Models as they are here at Ohsweken Speedway in Ontario, and there's only a couple of laps left to go.
And just 4 laps remaining. Darren Peters and John Waters, what a duel they have had. But it's not over yet. Waters was showing some smoke out of his number 11 right before the caution. We'll see if that's an issue as they're ready to refire. And is this the restart that Charlie Sandercock needed? Boy, Peters pulling away into turn number 1.
Yeah, and really for Sandercock, this is a guy, like we were just talking about before we went to break, there was so much traffic, there was really no way he was going to get up there. Now, all the cars in front of him are right in position ahead of him, a chance for him here as he works the outside.
Watch him motor on the top side. Everybody locked down on the bottom. Oh, is he going to grease it up and slide it down the middle? Wow!
Up to second, Charlie Sandercock, who was as far back as 12th. 4 laps into the event, up to the number 2 spot. Does he have enough time to reel in Darren Peters? Again, Sandercock won the opening tour event at the Can-Am Motorsports Park. He's the defending champion. Peters has never scored a Go Nuclear Series win. Could tonight be the night?
That was a move right there of authoritative action. Wow. That move was set up off of turn number 2, just down the back straightaway with all that momentum.
And momentum is the key with these Go Nuclear late models. Panaccio up to third. Incredible run for the rookie. Final lap. Sandercock has reeled in Peters. Doug, does he have enough time?
We'll find out. Peters down on the bottom. Remember, this is where Sandercock set up his run last time. We'll watch the margin. It shrinks as they hit turn number 3. Checkered flag is waving. Darren Peters on the bottom. Is he going to get it?
He's got it.
Yes, he is. And Sandercock takes home position number 2.
Nice first-time win.
Yeah, that's a great win. Veteran driver Darren Peters scores the victory. Rookie Sam Panaccio in third. All impressive finishes along the way. And look at how many cars able to finish this event. I think we only had about 2 cars drop out of the 27 starters. So congratulations to Darren Peters. Kind of a surprise victory. Many didn't even think he'd be here tonight. They figured his son Jordan would be behind his car.
I think it's impressive for him to get his first win, but I'll tell you what, Charlie Sandercock drove the wheels off of that car from 12th to 2nd. What a run.
That's the kind of race championships are built off of.
Absolutely.
Sean Beardsley, a decent run in 4th. Lee Gill, a solid effort in 5th. And Colton Lettingham, another rookie, finished in 6th. Look at Dale Caswell falling back to 12. Yeah, he was running great, and only 15 cars finished on the lead lap, with a number of cars, good cars, falling a lap down to the field. So kind of a surprise there at the end.
Glenn Steyer's 21st after his win earlier tonight, so humbling to hop behind the wheel. But the late model doesn't normally drive it, but still, I'm sure, had a real good time wheeling that car around a racetrack that he knows very, very well up here at Ohsweken. There is our race winner, Darren Peters from Fort Erie, Ontario. 7 wins back at Humberstone back in 2012, and he waves the checkered flag and will begin the celebration down in Victory Lane. Let's check in and meet our race winner.
Well, normally Jordan drives this car, but tonight Dad got to play, and wow, did you play, man? Way to go.
Yeah, it was, the car just felt awesome, and I just knew I could plan it down low, and I had lots of drive off. The car was just perfect. There's a little bit of obstacles to try to keep it underneath the bumps, but, the track has tons of bite in it, and it was just an amazing night.
Tell me about that incident in traffic where you and John Waters were pinballing off each other and the lap cars.
Yeah, I guess I was pushing it a little too hard there. I thought I had was going to get underneath that lap car, and anyways, I think I wasn't quite underneath it. It put me a little sideways, and I went into John. Luckily, we were all both to keep going, and didn't take neither of us out, and then I was able to pass him clean later on. It was just a great night.
Did you hear Charlie coming in on that last lap?
No, I never did, but I tell you, you heard everything that was going wrong in the car, creaks and rattles, and I was just like, please hold off for one more lap. So, no, I didn't know he was right there. But anyways, it was a great showing for us. We were really excited.
A wild race tonight here at Ohsweken, and Darren Peters winds up in Victory Lane.
Well, we're here with Charlie Sandercock. Charlie, not a bad run for you, kind of adventurous. I mean, the leaders were wrecking. The track was a story tonight. You were all over the place, but those last 5 laps really found it on the top. Talk about those last 5.
Yeah, well, up to those the last 5 laps, I didn't know where I was on the map. I was just driving, and there was cars here, cars there. I knew some were lap cars, some were points cars, so I just kind of didn't really know where I was. And then coming to those last 5 laps, I kind of shook my head and said, all right, we know where we are now, and let's put this thing on a mission. I knew everyone was kind of rolling the bottom, and my car was working good right up around the rim, and we got some momentum there, made a nice pass for second, and then set our sights on Darren. Darren had a good car, and just I'm running out of time.
There's, ladies and gentlemen, second place tonight, your runner-up, Charlie Sandercock here in the Go Nuclear late model.
With Sam, our third place finisher, you had the best seat in the house there for a little bit, watching the craziness that was happening up front.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, that's for sure. I just sat back and just watched, got to the bottom line, just held it there.
Yeah, some of the guys were bouncing around up at the top, and it looked like, especially in turn 1, you had to try to keep out of the rut.
Yeah, there was a nice little rut starting there. I was able to time it perfectly where it just gave me a little bounce and then bit, and away I went.
And Sam brought it home with a third place finish tonight.
And now Sam is able to complete the top 3 photo in Victory Lane. We have 1 race left, the 75-lap Super Dirt Car Series feature, and it's coming up next on the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
I came to play, there's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. Say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back, watch your future fade. I came to play, get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I came to play.
Sick of staticky headphones you bought at the dollar store? Come to your senses and enjoy music once again. At Sense, we recognize that not one size fits all. It's your music. Sense believes it should be your choice in how to listen to it. Enjoy crystal clear audio with comfortable and fresh styles that suit you. Don't conform to the norm. Get what you want and listen with your senses.
Welcome back to Ohsweken Speedway in Ontario, Canada, the Triple Crown Showdown. Well, it wouldn't be a Triple Crown without 3 races. The final race, the Super Dirt Car Series for the 467 cubic inch dirt modifieds. First time we've seen them on this show.
Yeah, and the first time that they've ever been to the Ohsweken Speedway. And Glenn Stiers, who is the ultimate track owner and race fan, has wanted the big block modifieds here for a long time, finally getting him here to his speedway.
75 laps, 30 cars will take the green in this one. $6,000 a purse, total purse of well over $30,000 on the line here for these big block modifieds, primarily from New York, Ontario, Quebec, and even a couple Pennsylvania guys. Dale Plank will get the pole position in this one.
And the top 6 rows were determined by the redraw from the guys that qualified through their heat races tonight, so the top 12 had to pick their starting spots.
Some of the guys with the unlucky redraws, Chad Brockman and Pat Ward. And then look at the names of the guys outside of the redraw. Billy Dunn, Matt Shepard, Larry White. And I think Larry White's going to be one to watch out for. He had to climb his way through his qualifying heat. Gary Tompkins and Pete Bicknell, and Jimmy Phelps is behind that. This is going to be an incredible show.
Well, if Charlie Sandercock showed us anything in the late model, is that the top side can work. And if anybody's going to go to the top side on a heavy racetrack like this with a cushion, it's going to be Larry White, one of the most exciting drivers to watch in the modified ranks. We'll keep our eye on him to see how he charges to the front.
One of the unique things, caution laps will count until lap 50, and then it will be caution laps not counting after that. So that'll be a unique piece to watch out for.
And double file restarts. No Delaware-style restart where the leaders all by themselves. No, they're doubled up. No single file restart for the modifieds, and all lapped cars will go to the back of the pack. The lead lap cars won't be mingled in on restarts. They're going to be left alone to fire it up and battle it out.
We are ready for the green flag. Dale Plank on the bottom with Keith Flack, and we are racing here at Ohsweken, and so glad to have Shane Andrews with us. He is the voice on the road with the Super Dirt Car Series, so he knows these cars well. Dale Plank jumps out to the early lead.
And you know something? Dale Plank has not run a big block modified all season, jumping behind the wheel for Kerry Terrence here tonight, as Terrence is with his family on a lacrosse tournament for his kids, and the natural jumping behind the wheel, and he hasn't lost his touch at all.
The natural is the perfect nickname for him, as he is out in front. Decker into second, Keith Flack back to third, and Matty Williamson down on the inside of the racetrack runs in position number 4 with the Doctor in spot number 5.
That's Danny Johnson, the Doctor, then 27J. Brett Hearn, we saw him in his earlier heat race. We're watching the battle for 4th right now as they come out of turn number 2. Williamson may have the spot, but no, here comes Rudolph right back.
I'm going to throw this out to you guys right here. First time for the big block modifieds here to Ohsweken. If you had to pick 1 or 2 drivers that you thought would be in victory lane here tonight at a track that they're at for the first time, who would you say?
Well, I'd say one of the regulars, one of the front runners, Decker or Shepard. But I'm telling you right now, some of these guys hanging it out on the top, a guy like Larry White, look at him thread the needle. Stu Friesen on the bottom, Timmy Kerr up on the top, and White drives right through him and around him.
There's 2 guys that always come to mind. No trouble. Eric Rudolph. Oh, my goodness.
Rudolph up and over in the Chrysler 21. Red flag is out. Rare to say in a modified race.
Oh, my. Eric Rudolph and the Randy Chrysler number 21 are up and over a hard roll in turn number 1 and 2.
Looked like he just hit that cushion wrong, and that can be the downside of a cushion. Well, let's find out rather than speculate. Let's see what happened. There you see him highlighted down in turn 1.
Oh, he hit a rut right before he went up to the top side of the speedway, and it looks like it snapped the right rear axle out of the car, and he went up and over.
So he is upside down in turn number 1. Let's check in with Clinton, who's down there in turn number 1, and find out what's going on.
Yeah, Eric Rudolph okay here in the 21K. They're just discussing on how they're going to turn it back on its wheels. He's certainly hung upside down right now in the turn. And they'll get to work here on this one quickly. In turn 1, shouldn't be but a moment. The car definitely all broken up and destroyed. He will be done here tonight, but Rudolph is okay.
There's still a lot of racing left to be done, and we'll get back at it right after this. There is the wrecked race car of Eric Rudolph, just flipped down in turn number 1 to bring out our first caution of the 75-lap Super Dirt Car Series race here at the Ohsweken Speedway.
Two-time defending 358 Modified Series champion out of Ransomville, New York, driving for Randy Chrysler out of the Tuscarora Nation of Western New York.
So our first caution here, 75 laps is what we do. And these are big block modifieds. You don't see these in a lot of spots of the country, pretty much a northeast thing, really, when you get down to it. But these engines can make anywhere from 800 to 900 horsepower, a very unique race car. And right now, Dale Plank, the best of this group. That's what Matt Williamson sees from inside his car. He is on the outside of row number 2, currently in position number 4.
Well, we'll really be able to get an appreciation for how he works that wheel in the center steer big block modifieds as we go back to green.
Drivers slide into turn number 1, some of them hook in a bad spot on the bottom of the racetrack. Plank, though, able to drive away from the 91 of Billy Decker in a good battle for third.
Well, the Dr. Danny Johnson in the 27J. Keith Flack in the number 43, his second year out on the series full-time, a regular at the Lebanon Valley Speedway, the high banks out there in West Lebanon, New York. No stranger to going fast, having a very good run here early on.
And you can see Brett Hearn, he's come from outside the top 10. He's trying Matt Williamson now. Danny Johnson just ahead of him, and the two of them, a little bit of history at a lot of racetracks around the Northeast.
Nice move by Matt Williamson in the 6 up to the top of the racetrack. He bangs off that cushion, and Danny Johnson able to get back underneath him in the 27J up to 4th, and here comes Lightning Larry.
Oh, look at this. They're going to go 4 wide down on the bottom as Stuart Friesen in that 7Z was right there. So there's a lot of racetrack to be able to use here, especially down in turn number 3 and 4. And it looks like, again, talking about a little bit of a rut down there in turn number 1.
I like what I'm seeing out of Larry White right now. He started back in 16th. He's 3 wide in the middle of the racetrack. Matt Williamson will get by him. The caution's out, though.
See who we can find out who it is. I believe it might be Rich Scalata. Yes, that's who it is on the top side of the racetrack, left rear flat for the driver out of New Jersey.
Yeah, out of Bound Brook, New Jersey, in the number 8 machine. He and Peter Britton traveled to all the races together. Troyer Chassis, both housed there in Weedsport, New York, so a tough break for Skaggs. Former Big Block Modified Rookie of the Year at the age of 50.
That is something in itself right there. Not many people win Rookie of the Year in anything at age 50, but hey, never too late to go on out there and do some racing. So hopefully Rich will be able to make it back out and stay on the lead lap.
Well, the field organized and ready to get back underway, and I was impressed by Plank last time, really able to shoot out from Billy Decker's 91. You see Williamson cleaning off a little bit of mud off the grill.
Yeah, that's what that's there for. I mean, it keeps the mud off the helmets there. They do have tear-off stacked on there as well, but every now and then a big old piece of clay will get up there, and you got to do it the old-fashioned way. Back to green flag racing, and Dale Plank back out front with Billy Decker trying the high side.
And here's something where you have to be careful with those tear-offs is with your, trouble. We've got Larry White doing a complete 360. Peter Britton and Jimmy Phelps, no place to go as we are under yellow. And
Boy,
Larry
look
White
at Jimmy,
was having a good run.
Look at Jimmy Phelps' car there. That thing really took a big hit.
Yeah, and I thought White was going to be a guy running up to the front.
And he was. He did.
And he wasn't really going to have an issue there, but, boy, they really made a jam session off of turn number 1.
Let's see if we can see what happened to White here. They just looked like it came around on him.
Peter Britton, no place to go. And Jimmy Phelps is already committed back on the gas off the top side of 1. And no place to go.
And you can see how high these cars are from the back. I think Jimmy Phelps never saw anything until it was right there. He never had a chance to react.
No, and this is a victim of circumstance. He just didn't have time. It happened so quickly in front of him.
So 3 cars involved in this caution, and we will see if any of them will be able to make it back. Actually, Larry White still on the track. Matt Williamson taking a look out the front of his car. I haven't been able to see much during the race with him. That's Danny Johnson on the outside. He's in position number 5.
Well, one of the comments I wanted to make, guys, is we've been talking about the tear-offs that are on the helmets. You can only put so many tear-offs on a helmet, and on a heavy track like we've had here tonight, and at 75 laps, you cannot put 75 laps worth of you can't put 75 tear-offs on there. So you have to be conservative with your tear-offs.
Yeah, sometimes a good wipe is all you need at that point. And if you put too many on there, it gets a little too wavy. You can't see very well. So it's a balance there for the teams and the drivers. As we watch this race, Danny Johnson to the outside of Keith Flack, 3 wide for a moment behind him.
4 different grooves being utilized. Danny Johnson to the outside of Keith Flack. He will get the number 3 spot, and then it's anybody's guess for 4th on back.
Hearn's going to run that top side in that black number 20. And let's watch how Matt Williamson, watch him work this wheel.
Shuts it down on the bottom and just lets it drift off the inside rail of the racetrack. That might come in even better later.
But you know something, if you watched, he wasn't really having to work that wheel hard or turn it awful hard. I mean, power steering in these race cars, but very smooth on the low side of the speedway, just touching that wheel to get the car to react.
Made it look so easy, didn't he?
He did, didn't he?
You know, it's like anybody could just hop in and do it. Of course, we know that's not true. Brett Hearn picks up a spot, gets by Keith Flack. Two of them race together on Saturday nights at Lebanon Valley. Flack trying to get right back.
Yeah, Flack's going to go back underneath him, and here comes Stuart Friesen. He didn't have a great run with the sprint car as it broke early, but he is in 6th. Got by Matt Williamson and then diving through the middle in Mike Payne's 7Z.
You can hear him working the throttle and the steering. They say you drive these things with your right foot, and they're pretty much right.
Well, the right foot and the two cheeks you're sitting on, because you've got to feel the race car, and the only way you're going to do that is, again, throttle control and by the seat of your pants.
Coming up on lap number 20 here, 75 laps. These things have big fuel cells in them. They can run long distance racing. Peter Bicknell's got a problem on the top side of turn number 2. We are under yellow. We'll be back for the Super Dirt Car Series at Ohsweken. Dale Plank continues to lead the Super Dirt Car Series. First time for the big block modifieds here at Ohsweken Speedway. There's Billy Decker and Danny Johnson. They're running 3rd and 4th. Brett Hearn right there as well, as we are early in this one, only about just past the 3rd way through this modified feature.
Chad Brockman trying to move up in the number 3 car, starting back spot number 11. He's trying to crack into the top 5 underneath Stu Friesen.
And a nice move right there underneath, just smooth right down the bottom of the speedway. You can see it starting to shine up just a little bit on the bottom side, so a little bit of throttle control to keep it on the bottom.
Friesen still trying to find that race car a little bit, Doug.
Yes, he is, and there's our race leader, almost a half a track ahead of where we were just looking at. That's Shane Pierce just ahead of him, and Dale would like to get by him without causing any momentum, but I'm impressed with what Dale Plank has been able to do with not many starts in that car this year.
But Dale's the consummate professional. I mean, he works on these cars all the time. He knows how to set these race cars up, and it's like riding a bicycle for him. He could be out of the car for a couple of weeks, jump right back in it, and he's still going to be as quick as he was the last time he was in it.
Watching the 4th place battle, Chad Brockman is the man on the move right now. Nice move on the inside. That car rotated well. Challenge isn't over yet, though, as he's going to try to take the spot away from Brett Hearn.
How many times do you see somebody just pass Brett Hearn like he's standing still and tied to a tree and pull away from him just like he did? Oh, Timmy Kerr around in a knot.
Oh, Tim was having a good run here today. He's had a really good season. You can see the car just refired right there, so he will go pick up things at the rear, but Tim Kerr brings out the caution here. Does he have a flat, or is that just
play?
play?
Have a flat left front. Kind of hard to see from our camera angle, but yeah, it was good to see Tim pick up that win in qualifying heat race number 2. And
he does have a
I always
flat.
give him credit because he drives down to Brewerton and runs weekly on a
And
Friday
a recent
night.
winner there, too.
Yeah, but it was second race of the year, and then a couple of weeks after that, got in a big jingle, actually ended up trashing the car at that point. White flag show to the field, so next time they come by, they will be racing. Dale Plank has had this one under control the whole way. Billy Decker runs in second, but the guy we've been watching now sits in position number 4, and that's Chad Brockman.
You know, Shane, we saw it with the sprints and the late models. Things happen so fast. The race doesn't really build. With the Super Dirt Car Series, 75 laps, the track will change, the cars will change, and different drivers will start moving their way to the front. This restart could be a big break for a guy like Billy Decker or Danny Johnson.
And this race is 75 laps. Traditionally, the Super Dirt Car Series races are 100 laps. So 25 laps less make things happen a lot quicker. So now you go to tire compound. Do you put the 300 on? Do you do the 400? Or do you do the 500, the extra hard? So a little bit of a guessing game of which you want to go to, especially when you have no notes to go back to.
How about Chad Brockman, though? He just got up to 4th. He's looking for 3rd on Danny Johnson.
He's
going after Decker for 2nd.
Chad Brockman is historically a small block modified driver. Merrittville and Ransomville Speedways, there's a big block strapped between the pipe of this car, and he is bringing it to the front.
Of course, it's not like he's an unknown in that world. Comes
not
to
at all.
Syracuse every year, wins that win and you're in race. He's won that several times at Rolling Wheels. Just one of those guys. He's a farmer. He's busy. He just can't run all these races. Doesn't have the time.
Former sportsman winner at Syracuse during Super Dirt Week. A talented race car driver. Him and his brother Corey do the work on these cars. They do an excellent job. And Chad Brockman is well known in Western New York. And if he pulls this one off, he's going to be well known in Central New York.
And in Canada
That's
as
right.
well, as he is doing well in front of the Ohsweken fans. Good battle for fifth. First time we've called Matt Shepard's name. He goes to the inside of Stu Friesen to try to get into the top 5. Shepard started back in position number 15.
How good are these two guys right here in modifieds in this day and age? Matt Shepard in the 9H, Stuart Friesen in that number 7Z. You look at the history of these two drivers over the past 2 years. They have combined for close to 100 feature wins between the two of them. Actually, more than that, close to 120 feature wins over the last 2 to 3 seasons between these two drivers alone.
Yeah, 20 is like the magic number in wins and modifieds, and both of them have done that at least the last 4 years and maybe even longer than that. So they know each other well, both in their lower 30s, but they are putting on a pretty good show right now
And
here
Shepard
as we're past halfway.
Sorry, Doug. Shepard comes in as the Super Dirt Car Series point leader, fresh off of 2 wins in 5 starts.
But it's refreshing to see the veterans running well, like you have Dale Plank, Chad Brockman, Brett Hearn, Danny Johnson, Billy Decker. But you also have the young guys in, like you said, their late 20s and early 30s, the Matt Shepards and the Stuart Friesens that are going to carry on that big block modified torch.
And it looks like the margin is shrinking a little bit. I believe Brockman is catching Dale Plank.
Impressive to see. Plank has been untouchable in anything he's done all night long. But Brockman, remember, we saw him passing cars on the bottom of the racetrack. Now he's running the top and closing in.
See, this is where Brockman has the advantage because Plank doesn't know where he is. He has no spotter, no radio. So Brockman is searching the track for the different line that is faster, where Plank is locked in and committed to the bottom side. Let's see if Plank changes his line when he sees Brockman right there.
Might have hurt him that time out of turn number 4, but that sometimes they say it's better to be second late in the race than first, and we're seeing an example of that right here because Plank's just trying to run the line. He's been running the whole race. Brockman's the one who's busy searching, trying to figure out a way by, and he knows he's there now.
Yeah, there's no question who it is, how close he is, and all that stuff. Throw Dave Farney out the window. You don't need him to tell you how close he is. But Plank stays true on the bottom of the speedway, pulls back in front, and now we'll see if he makes an audible.
Well, you dance with the girl you brought to the dance, and that's exactly what Plank is doing. Maybe his car won't work on the top side. We haven't seen him venture up to the top to see if there's anything up there for him.
Oh, and Pat Ward has slowed out of the backstretch. We are about halfway, a little more than halfway through. You're watching the Super Dirt Car Series, part of the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Ladies and gentlemen, you came looking for a show. Well, here you go.
It's the 11th annual Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, coming September 18th to 19th to the Ohsweken Speedway, an event with incredible car counts, legendary names steeped in history. Friday night, the action-packed Burger Barn, night before the Nationals. Saturday, the $12,000 to win A-Main. Don't miss Canada's biggest sprint car race.
Let's end all the anticipation as we bring to you the feature presentation.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
50 laps complete in the 75-lap Super Dirt Car Series, the final race of the night here at the Ohsweken Speedway, part of the Triple Crown Showdown. And this has been a real good one so far.
Yeah, the drivers have moved up, moved back. You see Matt Williamson has fallen back to 12th, but the guy that started 11th, Chad Brockman, up to 2nd, and now Dale Plank knows he's there.
Yeah, Dale Plank has led since the drop of the green and has had a very good race car down on the bottom, but as we saw before we went to break, Chad Brockman inching up to challenge for the lead.
Will they change lines? We'll find out. Plank is pretty much stuck to the bottom the whole race. Moves up just a little bit here on the restart. Billy Decker watches from position number 3.
And Decker goes down to the inside rail. Plank has now moved up to the top, Shane.
Yeah, we were wondering if Plank was going to do that to see what he can find, and he liked what he saw in turn number 3 and 4, but he goes back to the bottom and 1. Tale of 2 different racetracks. Let's see if he does it again.
I've been here a lot of times with sprint car races, and I tell you, top of 3 and 4 is almost always the place to be. Bottom of 1 and 2, though, will come in quicker than the bottom of 3 and 4. Look at Matt Shepard. Super Matt down on the inside, gets by Danny Johnson and goes after Decker for 3rd.
And these two are in a dogfight for the number 1 spot in points for the Super Dirt Car Series, Shepard and Decker, so every little position on the Speedway helps.
Watching now as Brockman dips to the inside, switching up the lines. Didn't get him that time, but now let's see what Plank does. He'll hold the bottom. Is there room for Brockman down on the inside? 21 laps to go.
I tell you what, Plank overcooked that corner and definitely left the door open, but Brockman was not able to capitalize. But I think Plank's found something by riding that rim off of turn number 4.
And I think Brockman has found something on the bottom. And look at this switcheroo between Decker and the Doctor. Danny Johnson in the 27J. The Doctor had the 4th spot off of 3, but Decker comes right back underneath him to take it away.
Didn't have it for much.
Current top 3 in series points, all in our picture right now, as Decker shoots down to the inside, and Shepard really has that car leaned over on the right-hand side, Doug. He's able to get to 3rd. Again, started back in row 8, so he's moving forward.
And it's interesting that the drivers are using the cushion in 3 and 4, but not really at all down in 1 and 2.
Again, the tale of 2 different racetracks and the way that the car works. And you know something? Races are won in the last 50 feet right here, so you want to be better in 3 and 4 than you do in 1 and 2.
That's positions 3, 4, and 5. You just caught the leaders pulling away there as Danny Johnson, veteran driver who has won hundreds of features, trying to chase down one of the young guns in the sport. Danny looks down to the bottom with Matt Shepard.
Now, both of those drivers, former Mr. Dirt Car Series champions on the series, as Matt Shepard had 3 in a row at one point.
That's the downside of running the very bottom down there in turn number 1. And you can only do that so many times, Shane, before you're going to have a problem.
Well, we've got to give kudos to the track crew. I mean, there's been a lot of rain here.
Yes.
The track has been wet. It's been heavy, but we starting to slick up now. And here we go up in front. Brockman with a nose underneath Plank into 3.
And we saw this in the late models. The drivers drive into the bottom of 3 and try to make it stick. Brockman looks like he might have it. Plank is going to get back by the line, though.
Oh, and then he shuts the door on him into turn number 1, so a bit of a strategy move there. And Brockman's still right there.
Boy, had a tough exit out of turn 2 that time. And notice Plank goes right to the bottom. He saw Brockman down there the lap before, said, I better get back down there and try this.
Plank has 6 series wins to his credit. Brockman's still looking for his first, and Decker's off
Is he
the
slowing?
pace.
Oh, left rear flat.
Decker has a flat left rear, and he will go to the... No, he's going to spin it around. They throw the yellow, and I think that's a veteran move to keep himself in this competition.
A veteran move, not only to keep himself in competition, but also to do it on the inside of the speedway out of harm's way so nobody would get into him.
And he's going to hustle into the pit area to the attention of his crew and make that left rear tire swap. Let's take a look at that again, as that was a veteran way to cause a caution.
Yeah, because if you just ride around slowly, you might not get that yellow. But anytime you spin real close to the racetrack, come back out like that, the officials have to throw the yellow, and that gives Decker time to possibly change a tire. Did Brockman get the lead?
Well, it looked like he made it from a couple of different angles, but remember, they go back to the last completed lap because caution laps are not counting after lap number 50.
Good point. And, of course, these have transponders on them. There's a loop, basically something that's buried under the racetrack right at the start-finish line, so they can tell who crosses before anybody at the line.
And a single-file restart being utilized here with 14 laps left to go. Plank goes down to the bottom of the block. Brockman up to the top.
Brockman using that outside like a lot of guys have not done in this race so far. Plank heading to the bottom here in 3 and 4. Nope, he's going to slide up. Brockman might have to crisscross and try to get low.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's 2 different tales of races going on. You've got Brockman, who's the aggressor, all over Dale Plank, and Dale Plank's on the defensive. And he bobbles right there. He got a rut, and Brockman to the lead.
Oh, it just took one little bobble. 63 perfect laps for Dale Plank. And now Brockman in front, but Plank's not going to give up yet.
Well, I think Chad Brockman might have a better car at this point of the race than Dale Plank. And it's obvious. I mean, he's been all over him. He's just been inching up there. But Plank able to stay with them right now.
Well, we talked about it with Taryn Peters in the late models. Never won a series race, but had won a lot of races. Brockman is the same story. Never won a Super Dirt Car Series big block modified feature. Could tonight be the night?
Last year, 2 years ago, actually, he was so close at Merrittville to win a Super Dirt Car Series race. Lap traffic bit him, and it cost him the victory.
Mark Delario with a left front flat on his 08, and boy, there's a difference to see with the Canadian cars, the Esso. Don't see that much in the States. We don't have long to go. When we come back, we'll watch the conclusion of the Super Dirt Car Series race at the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I came to play.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Ohsweken Speedway is the home of Friday night excitement, featuring Canada's best weekly sprint car action. The Winged Warriors battled it out on the high bank 3/8 mile oval each and every week, chasing after the Corr Pack title. The grandstands, lighting, and racing are second to none. Ohsweken is also the home of the groundbreaking crate sprint car division, as well as huge stock car fields with incredible door-to-door action. Visit OhswekenSpeedway.com to plan your trip to the Big O.
Back at Ohsweken with 11 laps to go in the 75-lap Super Dirt Car Series race. And we've got a driver up front who has never won on the series before. That's Chad Brockman in the number 3.
He's got Dale Plank, Matt Shepard, Danny Johnson, and Peter Britton rounding out the top 5. Matt Williamson back up to a 6th-place run. Last time we saw him in the in-car, he was back in 12th.
We focused on the top 5, but there are guys like Britton that was involved in that wreck that have climbed their way through the field, battled for second. Matt Shepard down to the inside of Dale Plank, and they go to the inside of Brockman.
And you know Matt Shepard is thinking points. He saw Billy Decker go around with that flat tire, so Shepard's on the loud pedal. He's looking to gain some points on the rest of the competition.
Good point, Shane. That's definitely time to go at this point and see what he can get. And he is up to position number 2. Rich?
Got that left front lifted up, and you talk about points. He might get the win in this one, the way he's working it off the bottom of turn number 4. But Plank staying in the throttle, adapting to a new line. You talked about that girl that he brought to the dance. He's dancing with a new one right now.
And out front, Chad Brockman pulling away a little bit from this battle for second spot.
And Brockman's missing a great race behind him, and that's exactly what he wants. He just wants to see nothing but clean straightaway in front of him. And never winning a Super Dirt Series race, guys. Oh, boy, Dale Plank, my goodness, was that Joey Chitwood? Oh, my. But, you know, watching this happen, Chad Brockman never winning that Super Dirt Series race. When does he start to hear some of those gremlins that come up on the last couple of laps?
That's true, guys. Say you hear stuff that's not really there. Wait, do I hear a car over my shoulder? That's what happens when you're not comfortable in those situations. But it's not like Brockman doesn't win a lot of races. Here's a good battle for 5th right here. Matt Williamson making his way back up through the field.
Him in 12th place just a few laps ago. Stu Friesen's hung around 5th or 6th the entire way, and Jimmy Phelps running in 7th, guys, after his hard contact. These guys are really putting together a good quality points night, if for nothing else.
Well, it's a never say never attitude. It's early in the season. They're going for everything they can, and championships are won by staying on the speedway and getting all the points that you can. I mean, there's been times we've seen these guys knocked out of a points battle, but they come back out on the speedway and continue to fight tooth and nail for everything they can get.
Yeah, like Jimmy Phelps, for example, with the damage on his car. I didn't even think he had any chance of coming back. Did I just see smoke off of Brockman's car? Yeah, that's coming from the engine.
Oh, boy.
That's definitely, smoke that you got to get concerned about a little bit. Can it hang on for 4 more laps, Shane?
Wow, I'll tell you what, this would be a huge win for that guy and that team. You don't want to see anything happen to anybody's race car, but you have to be concerned when you see the smoke like that.
And it's not going away. If anything, it's we're seeing more of it now as he goes through 3 and 4. And we talked about those noises. He's smelling that now.
Dale Plank can see it too, and Dale Plank is coming after him. But I'll tell you what, Brockman's still got a good race car. Drive it till she pops. It's probably running the best. Don't they say it runs best before it blows?
They always say that, and that's true right now. 2 laps to go, but Chad Brockman just saying, get me 2 more laps, honey. That's all I need.
And now only needs 1 more, so even if the motor starts to bog down, he might be okay. You just don't need it to let go at this point. Lap traffic could be a factor in Dave Rauscher, but Brockman leads, still with the smoke showing.
He'll take it into 3 and 4 for the final time. Gage is bouncing around, I'm sure. A little bobble there, but Chad Brockman wins his first race ever on the Super Dirt Car Series.
Dale Plank second, Matt Shepard third, Danny Johnson fourth. Fine night for Matt Williamson, Stuart Friesen. Jimmy Phelps comes back to seventh after that early skirmish.
Billy Dunn, Peter Britton, and Brett Hearn round at the top 10. 75 laps is complete. We'll meet our first-time Super Dirt Car Series winner when we come back on the Atomic Power Racing Hour. We're back here at the Ohsweken Speedway where the Triple Crown Showdown is now complete. Chad Brockman is in victory lane with his first career Super Dirt Car Series feature win. No question he is going to celebrate this one for a while, and so he should. Let's go down to Paul Small and meet the man of the hour.
Great. You got an awesome place, Glenn. You really do.
Track owner Glenn Steyer's jumping in to give this guy a hug. I'd say you earned it. What a race that was.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we drew 11, and we went back and we second-guessed everything we did, and I made a couple phone calls, and I was told just to settle down and just do what we're here to do, and that's what I did, and what a deal, man. What an awesome night, awesome car. I can't thank everybody that helps me out enough.
Tell me about where you got past Dale and then the caution came out. You had to go back lap, had to go back behind him. What goes through your mind in a situation like that? How do you not lose focus?
Oh, I was sick to my stomach because, Dale's a racer. He's been doing this for a lot longer than I've been. And, when you show him an opening, by golly, the next time they're going to fill it, and they're not going to let you do that again to him the next time. But luckily enough, I have a good enough car, and I was able to make it work. And you know what? I just stuck to my guns and stick to my lane, and it all worked out.
First race ever for the Super Dirt Car Series at this track. Your first career Super Dirt Car Series victory. How cool is that?
Well, I think it's cool because this is my first ever Big Block Super Dirt Series win, too. And we've been doing this a long time, and I got a bunch of seconds. So, it really feels cool to be the very first winner here and to get my first Big Block Tour race win here.
That's Chad Brockman, Super Dirt Car Series winner here at Ohsweken.
Congratulations to Chad Brockman. You always remember your first, and this was his. Dale Plank ends up in second place. Good points run for Matt Shepard in third.
Yeah, real good points night for him, as well as Danny Johnson finishing in fourth. But how about Jimmy Phelps in seventh, Peter Britton in ninth, both of them coming back after an early race skirmish, and 8-time champion Brett Hearn finishing in position number 10.
I can't believe that Phelps and Britton were able to make it back out after the damage that they had sustained. Billy Decker, after his late race flat left rear, comes back out to finish in 12th. And some of the other guys that fell out early, like a Mark Delario, who had gotten in the top 10, finishes in 18th. And then a host of drivers unable to finish.
Yeah, Peter Bicknell pulled off, so did Pat Ward and Tim Kerr. Ryan Soucy, we saw him run well early in the night. And Larry White, who had something going on, ends up in the number 29 spot.
We're here with Dale Plank. Dale, got to be a bit disappointing. You almost had them. For the first 60 or so, you were the guy to beat. Brockman got you at the end, though.
Yeah, I was just trying to hit my marks as good as I could. And, the outside in 3 and 4 got good there, and then it kind of went away. And being a leader, you're always just sitting duck. That's the problem with drawing the pole. And usually if you don't start on the pole, you can kind of pick and choose, and that's basically what Chad did. He could see where I was running, and and just capitalized on where I wasn't as good, spots on the racetrack. Same thing I would have done if I was running second. It's just it's a classic case of, you're out front. This track is so wide, I have no idea if the middles come around good, the bottom, the top. It's so hard. Big block Super Dirt Series race, you got to have everything go your way 100%, and I would call this night going everything my way 90%, which, we unloaded great, we ran great, we raced great, the car was pretty good. We just freed up a little bit there at the end, but first time ever here, I'm a happy guy.
He's still smiling here. Second place, almost got him, just a little bit short.
Matt Shepard picks up a third in tonight's Super Dirt Car Series race. I'm sure you've worked harder for wins, but this may be the hardest you've worked to finish third.
We had a pretty good car tonight. We got behind the 8-ball a little bit early. Started 15th, just kind of, bided our time, raced the other race cars, raced the racetrack a little bit, and, 15th to third, we'll take it tonight.
And you had a chance there at the end. You were closing in there. Those last couple of cautions gave you a shot.
Yeah, seemed like if I could bounce through the holes the right way, I could catch them. But then the next lap, I'd hit one wrong and they'd hit them right and they'd pull away. Pretty much equaled out, and just happy to get to third.
And the car's in one piece too. That helps.
Strong run for Matt Shepard, picked up 12 spots. Let's recap what we've seen so far here tonight on the Atomic Power Racing Hour.
3 great features of action and a host of drivers that we didn't expect to see up front out there for at least a while. Dylan Westbrook in the 47X would jump out in front. Mitch Brown and Glenn Steyers, 2 of the best at Ohsweken, got together on the second circuit, almost came together, and then it was the 1Z of Stu Friesen who had gotten up to 5th, stopping on the racetrack, and he was done for the night in his sprint car.
Tough break for Friesen, who came in here hoping for a win at a track both he and his wife know very well.
And I'll tell you what, these 2 drivers right here, Dylan Westbrook and Glenn Steyers, putting on a great show. Teammates on the night in their Ohsweken Speedway sponsored 360 sprints. But in the end of this one, Westbrook, the boss, gets by, but man, he came so close to that first win.
And I love how awesome the vapor trails were down the front straightaway on this humid night. Westbrook didn't give up, though, and he closed right back in, gave it everything he had, just jumped the cushion a little bit. Probably could have straightened it out, but Todd Hoddick right there, and Westbrook would be done for the night. On the last restart, Hoddick said he had a right rear shock go down. Steyers would pick up the win, his first of the year here at his track.
Late models. It was part of the Atomic Power Racing Hour, the Go Nuclear Late Models, second feature of the night. This was a really good one.
Yeah, it was, and there were plenty of races, plenty of racetrack to use. And I'll tell you what, John Waters was impressive early on with that number 11. Sean Beardsley right there in the number 18. These guys really put on a great race up in front.
And Waters, I thought, was going to be the class of the field. Just had driven easily up to the front after starting back in spot number 9 and would get himself into the race lead. Seemed like he'd be okay, but as they worked into the lap traffic, Darren Peters able to run him down, and then things got interesting on lap number 13.
Boy, right here, look at that. Everybody which way but loose. Peters able to get it straightened back up and continue on.
And without the aid of a caution, he would chase him back down, and 4 laps later, finally make a pass for the lead.
And you talk about keeping your composure, Rich, and not getting flustered after that. He was able to keep his composure and go on and take the number 1 spot.
And fortunate there was no damage from that contact.
Probably the move of the night has to go to Charlie Sandercock. 5th to 2nd in one fell swoop, splitting between John Waters and the 18S of Sean Beardsley. Couldn't get Peters, though. Peters gets his first career Go Nuclear Late Model Series win.
So congratulations to a new winner on the tour this year as he celebrates down in Victory Lane. Super Dirt Car Series finished out the night.
Dale Plank in the 66 jumped right out from the number 1 spot, and we heard him say the pole position. That's a tough draw, especially coming into a track that you've never been at before. And scary moment here, Eric Rudolph in the 21R taking a couple of barrel rolls over there in turn 1. He was okay.
And then it was another driver that had been on the move. Larry White spun around mid-pack, left nowhere to go for Britton and Phelps. The 2 cars in the back actually would continue. And then it was Chad Brockman on the move.
That's right. And actually, both of those guys, Britton and Phelps, able to pick up top 10 runs. As Chad Brockman up to 2nd in that yellow and blue number 3, looking and going after the number 66 of Dale Plank.
And he used just about every lane he could to get the race lead. Goes down to the bottom on lap 59. You thought he had the spot. Plank would hold him off, but after the next restart, that's when the 3 finally would get himself up into the front of the field.
Yeah, Chad Brockman had a great race car. Billy Decker, who's in the thick of the points battle, a flat tire, he spins around. He ends up finishing 12th, and then Brockman, he says, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to the front as Plank bobbles, and he puts it up to the number 1 position.
He would get out in front, and Plank would try to fight back. The only issue for Brockman, would the smoke be a problem? He would hold him off and score the win and pick up his long-awaited feature win. Awesome show for all 3 divisions.
As victory lane ceremonies conclude for the modifieds, here is a look at when you can see us again as we follow the Go Nuclear Late Model Tour. The Gnome Cup from Utica Rome is up next, followed by a pair of return trips to Canada. For Rich Fleck, Shane Andrews, Paul Small, and Clinton Jeffrey, I'm Doug Elkins, hoping you enjoyed this special presentation of the Atomic Power Racing Hour. What a night it was in Ohsweken.